Hey there, welcome back. So today we're gonna check the do while loop. Now when compared to for loop and while loop, the do while loop is little different. So let's get started and let's check a very simple example. Now similar to while loop and for loop, we would require a variable for ideal do while loop. So let us add in one very simple variable and let us give the value as 0. And moving forward, we would require the code block for the do while loop. So inside this code block we would be having the statements which will be iterating based on your do while loop. Moving forward, we will be adding the while condition and we need to also add in the semicolon. So this semicolon is something which is like required in case of do while loop, but it is not required or it is not there in case of for loop and while loop. We will also check the for loop and while loop in couple of minutes in order to compare while loop, do while loop and for loop. Alright, so in here we would be adding the condition. So the condition would be, for example, I is less than equals to 10. Very simple example, and inside this loop we would be adding the value of I. So pretty simple example. And if we check the output of the program, there is an infinite loop, and the reason is pretty simple. We haven't added the increment or decrement, what we say, statement in here. So let us add that as well. So I will type in I++. So this increment and decrement statement would be inside the code block of the do while loop. So this seems to be good enough. Let me show you the output, and now the output is perfect. Now the special property of the do while loop is all the statements is checked before the condition checking. As a result, even if the condition is false for the very first time, your statements inside the code block will get executed. Let me show you. In here, for example, if I initialize I with 11, this means the condition is false for the very first time. The value of I is not less than equal to 10. But if we execute this program, the output would be 11. So this statement got executed, and this is the special property of the do while loop. Alright, so let us quickly check the for loop real quick. So here is the for loop. Semicolon is not there, and definitely if the condition is false for the very first time, definitely the output would be nothing. So let us add a statement so that we can at least see a statement. So I will simply type in testing text and let us print this. So as the condition is false for the very first time, no statement inside this loop code block got executed. Let me copy this, or in fact let me cut this and undo the changes in here. Same is the case with the while loop. Let me show you a while loop as well. So here is the while loop. If the condition is for example false for the very first time, again no statement inside the code block will get executed. Alright, so the only statement which is outside the loop got executed. So this was a quick comparison between while loop, for loop and the do while loop. So what are the things we need to remember? Semicolon is required after the while condition when we are making use of do while loop, and even if the condition is false for the very first time, your statements inside the code block will get executed. Alright, so this was the while loop as well. So in here the semicolon is not required, and if you add in the semicolon, unexpected result would be given. Alright, so this was it for today's lecture, and I hope the explanation was good enough. In our next video, we will discuss more about loops. Thanks for watching, take care, and I will catch you in the next video. And do practice and do experiment with Java. That will help you to understand Java. Thanks again.